Good evening and welcome to Freeform Fridays on Conversations with Taz. And we're starting off with T-Mac. So what's on your mind?
So it's been an eventful day, eventful week.
Do tell, do tell, do tell.
So, Lord, between the shenanigans that have happened on TikTok, the shenanigans that have happened in the real world, I mean, it's just been a mess.
You
So, so I posted a video today. Hilarious. Well, not hilarious. This last video wasn't hilarious. How you going to Did y'all know that Jesus was back?
Huh?
Yeah, did you know Jesus was back?
Um, I, I missed that.
Yeah, you didn't know?
I thought the whole rapture was supposed to happen when he came back.
I know, girl. I was surprised. This man was taking these two black women out of their wheelchairs, thinking that they could walk. So I was like, "Oh Jesus! All right, I didn't know you was back. I thought you was gonna take us with you when you came.
Wait,
What happened?"
sorry. I'm sorry. Let's rewind that because you're not gonna just skate past that like you didn't just say what you just said. They did what now?
They took these two black women. It's on my TikTok. They took these two black women, out of their wheelchairs, thinking that they were faking. So I was like, "Oh, is Jesus back? You Jesus? You didn't tell nobody? You keeping this underneath wraps? Because that's not your MO."
He- what?
Check out Lady Gwen's page. It was on there. That's where I got it from.
You
I
know,
was like,
really have not been on social media today. Please excuse me, dear viewers. Um, so there were two black women in wheelchairs because wheelchairs are not cheap,
really not.
and
Especially if they got to strap you in.
yeah, and folks thought that they were faking it, so they decided to pull them out of their wheelchairs. um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
were the people who pulled them out, were they, you know,
Girl, they were all peach people.
they were all chalk children?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm just
Hello,
saying.
I am sorry I am late and my camera is off. But what are you guys talking about? I am sorry I'm late to the conversation.
Black women being drug out of wheelchairs because folks thought that they were faking it. Woo, child. No. I am shooketh. I'm also confusion.
Girl, I was livid when I almost threw my phone and I remembered I'm still paying on it.
I just hold wait a minute. Let's okay, so
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to know like why is it that they send the black woman and black man home with Tylenol, but we got to give the white man, the white woman, an opioid to help their pain?
racism.
But they want to tell us we're all the same people. Yeah, but when it comes to medical, we're obviously supposedly don't feel pain. We can't be addicted to something. We can't have a crisis that, by the way, y'all put on us, by the way. Do I need to proceed?
Here's the thing. They don't tell us that we're all equal. They don't. They just claim that they're colorblind. Like that's supposed to make it better. But it's racism because even in some medical books that are being taught to, I know for a fact some nurses, because some nursing students have shared it on social media, they still don't believe that we feel pain. There's some nursing
As
books
an LPN,
that there are still nursing books that break it down to saying certain things about indigenous people, saying black people don't feel pain. Look at the experimentation that they did on black women to create a subcategory of medicine such as gynecology. And one tremendous and one great resource if you all are not certain about just the atrocities and why so many Black people at the beginning of the COVID vaccine coming out were very hesitant or still are very hesitant to go and get it. Read the book Medical Apartheid, because the medical community is to Black women. I don't care if you're cis or trans woman, to Black women what the police department is to Black men.
Put it this way. It was a crime before. It was a crime in our community, but it's an experience in theirs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was an epidemic in there. It's an epidemic in their community, but it's a crime in ours when we going through opioid shenanigans. I'm like, wait a minute. How is it? How did that change? How did it become a crime for us, but an epidemic for you?
Just like with the whole crack situation, all that stuff then become an epidemic and become serious until you got into the urban neighborhoods, the suburban neighborhoods, and stuff like that. So
please don't. Please, them suburbanites was still sussing out on drugs for the last couple of years, and nobody was talking about it.
But here's the thing: with the crack epidemic, it has been proven. Cops have been put in jail, and cops have admitted that they were not only putting the drugs in the neighborhoods, but they were kind of like the ringleaders. They were bashing, I shouldn't say bashing, they were forcing local drug dealers to give them cuts of things, or that they ran their whole thing. And what a lot of people don't realize is that white suburbanites were going into poor, predominantly Black neighborhoods to get the drugs, and the cops were turning a blind eye. This was detailed out in the book, The New Jim Crow. And if anybody's new, I read a lot of books. I teach a lot of things like this. So that's why I toss out references, so you can start there with your research and know we're not just tossing things out. Excuse me. And a lot of people didn't realize they heightened the penalty for selling crack. You had to have
not cocaine.
Of cocaine, which is the same drug, just mixed a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to keep Black men and women in prison longer, to keep that pipeline going, and give white men and women a slap on the wrist. And when it comes to us, it's, oh, you weren't raised properly. Oh, you're poorly educated. But when it's with them and it's an addiction, oh, now it's a problem. It's a disease. Let's not throw them in jail. Let's get them into rehab. Let's understand it.
I'm just like, if you're going to do that, then please explain to me. Explain to me how you're going to sit here and not see that it's the exact same thing. Please.
But
I'll wait.
I want to address this comment right here. You have to realize, for a very long time, and even to this day, racists, and even some white people who don't consider themselves to be racist, still don't see Black and brown people as human. When they imported us into this country, and I use the word imported on purpose because they looked at us and registered us as livestock, not humans. We had to have amendments to the Constitution in order for the United States of America to see us as humans and begin to give us rights and begin to look at us as citizens within this country. They have experimented on us regarding gynecological procedures. How well does medicine work? How long can a disease go untreated before someone dies or gets serious injury? You want to know why we know what syphilis can do to a body? The Tuskegee experiment. And these aren't things that just happened during our grandparents' or great-grandparents' days. There are experiments that have been happening on us that I personally can look at studies on up until 1992. I did stop my research at that the other day because I was getting pissed off.
I can see. We don't calm. We need you to remain calm. But isn't there I know there's a medical study, and I've forgotten this poor woman's name, and I'm sorry, ancestors, I did not mean to forget her name, but they took her cells without her permission, by the way.
Henrietta Lacks.
I know who you're talking
Thank
about.
you.
Henrietta
Thank you.
Lacks.
I knew it was somebody.
And The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It's the HELOC gene. You definitely need to read that book, and her granddaughters and great granddaughters are on TikTok. I know a couple of them do follow me because there was one little controversy and I kind of had to pop off on somebody on their behalf. But yeah, they wouldn't allow her into a predominantly white hospital. But at the black hospital, the white doctors started seeing how her cells were working. So instead of working diligently to save her life, they worked diligently to save her cells, to create things. Even to this day, her genes are being used for different things to save the white people that they wouldn't let her sit in the waiting room next to.
It's ridiculous.
You know, I really get tired of these people saying, "Oh well, you know, we did." I was like, "What did you do? Please tell me, what exactly did you do?"
Yeah, because they make it seem they glamorize slavery.
Because you, in my estimation, sir, have done nothing but sit there and eat your food and just live off of the people, off the backs of other people.
I'm just glad they finally stopped eating us. And for those of you all didn't know that during the times of slavery and some portions of Reconstruction, that there was a hell of a lot of cannibalism. There were entire cookbooks on how to cook a slave.
That just makes my heart just
stop making furniture out of our skin and stop making clothing out of our skin.
See, even to this day, that's a testament that we're still better than them.
Yeah. We were tainted as the savages. We couldn't be controlled. But we're not out here making furniture out of people's skin.
Hey, cousin.
Putting human hair into the seating.
Sorry, my volume is all messed up.
A president of the United States that was black. I mean, we only had one with the teeth of Caucasoids in their face, the teeth of an Angloid in their face. But I can name some, founding fathers that had a mouthful of black folks' teeth.
And that's like, how do you take somebody else's teeth out of their mouth and put them in yours? Like, that's disgusting.
Oh, y'all talking
That's
about
just how sick they are.
Washington? Lord have mercy.
And I got to say this. I got to finally get this off my chest.
Get it out.
And here, I know can't nobody mass report this and get my whole account banned. White people, because I know y'all like to pop in from time to time, because I can tell when the connection gets wonky, I'm getting mass reported. So before you start clicking the button, look me in the face, okay? Number one, can y'all stop making y'all heroes pedophiles and rapists? From the founding fathers to Trump, y'all always love a pedophile and rapist, and then want to turn around and point the finger at everybody else and say that we doing that mess. No, we are not. Our family trees have branches.
Yes, God.
But y'all uplift everybody. Yeah, I'm talking about your Benjamin Franklin. I'm talking about your
Tom. He was a creep.
Yes, I'm talking about your J. Edgar Hoover. Should I continue?
Yes.
Nasty, raping, pedophilic son of a bitches. And if you don't like what I said, I don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin was a fucking creepazoid. Like what was it? What was it? He wrote an article as like, and he was like pretended to be like wasn't that something? I know I'm not making this shit up. He was like a columnist, and he like answered questions. It was like, ask Dear Carols or whatever. Like
he wasn't supposed to. He almost brought down his brother's entire business.
That's right. Yeah.
He was such a great person that his brother sold him into indentured servitude because he didn't want to deal with his ass. Then his brother bought him back. They didn't have a good cuckoo relationship. And that's what these racists do. They will sell their own train. And then say that they are the superior race. How the fuck are you superior when, one, you are a mutation, two, you have not innovated anything ever in your life? Because stealing mixed it like you found it. If I found $1 on the street, it does not mean I created the dollar. Deshaun, you're giving reverb. But
sorry, I'll come back. I mean, to come back out.
But I'm like, y'all need to stop. You couldn't do nothing for yourself. You couldn't build a country. You couldn't sustain a country. You couldn't raise kids. You couldn't cook.
You couldn't bathe.
Hey.
You didn't know how to do your hair. You didn't even know how to properly go into damn war. The fuck?
Yes.
You want to sit here
Don't forget brushing your teeth.
Fox News.
Yeah.
We conquered. It was about conquering. We conquered and we innovated the United States. No, you brought disease, dirt, and stupidity to the United States. That's what the fuck you did. You brought everybody's IQ points down 115 when you decided to come on here.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. How many Puritans are left? None. Exactly.
Question. Hold on. We're gonna dive into this tonight. We're gonna go. I hope everybody is ready. So tell me, explain it to me.
Okay.
Dear white people, explain to me why you had 19 countries come together to divide up Africa. No, and didn't have any African representative. Get your opera glasses out, girl. Get your opera glasses out, because we gonna get it tonight. We gonna go. Explain. Because I'm waiting for that answer. Because obviously you felt that threatened by Africa coming together as an entire continent and becoming a superpower. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. I mean, explain, sir.
But
because obviously they were holding their own before you decided to come.
Here's the part B to that question. Racist white people, when are you going to stop saying that black and brown people are so stupid? Because as you're trying to conquer people and import them, you could never learn the languages. You allowed black and brown people to learn your language and interpret for you, and you don't really know what we were telling one another.
Fact. And dear white people, why was it so hard for you to imagine that an ancient civilization was smarter than you, that in order to project your superiority, that you cut off the noses of the Sphinx? Because you couldn't
go from dragging knuckles.
Because you couldn't handle.
And what?
Dear white people, stop saying speak our language. Stop saying speak our language.
We don't have a language. Y'all took a bunch of different. Y'all took all of our languages and jumbled it up together in the worst language on the planet that makes the least amount of sense, and you want to throw pride into that. And if you're gonna call yourself a fucking patriot, one, can you learn what the difference between the Bill of Rights and all of the amendments to the Constitution, the difference between the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence?
She didn't even breathe, y'all. She didn't take a breath.
Learn to read.
We've already been made independent. Well, cisgendered white Christian straight men have been celebrated. But the biggest thing is racist white people. Dear you dumb fuck, stop eating us because you discovered the Egypt. And you discovered the pyramids, you discovered the burial grounds. And why is it the first thing you thought to do was grind up our bones and eat them and snort them and put them in your tea? Why was that your thought? That's let's
not forget the fact that and they castrated every single mummy that they found. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. When they went into the Great Pyramid of Giza and they found, I believe it was King Tut. Yes, his body was still intact. The first thing they did was castrate him and throw them into the desert. It's something about emasculating things. You know, that's why a lot of the statues in Greek mythology, anytime anybody went and conquered a city, they castrated or they completely lopped off that side as some form of emasculation. Yet, all of our architecture is modeled after a phallus. Have you looked at skyscrapers recently?
Yeah, have you all really paid attention to the unfinished Washington Monument? And I say unfinished because monuments in this country
looks like
unfinished. It was supposed to be finished, but the United States went to war to go tell somebody else what they cannot do, and that they should be more Americanized, how the US does. Just like Mount Rushmore, this should have never been constructed, is incomplete.
I mean, what is conquering other than,
what about the Statue of Liberty?
For things that you do not have, right?
Let's not even go there because that should have been a black woman and they were offended.
Exactly.
There it is.
That was supposed to have been a whole black woman.
Boom. Lady Liberty.
Did we just burst your bubble, white people? I hope we did. Learn.
Oh,
it was
let's not
supposed to
forget
be a
about
black
incest
woman, and
either.
underneath those folds of her feet, there's still shackles there. Just saying.
And
Let's not forget about the white purity.
white people, what is y'all's obsession with what we as black and brown people have underneath our clothes? Why you always want to look at it? Throughout history, you wanted to tour us around to just have us get naked so you could look.
Sarah Bartman.
Yeah.
Sarah Bartman.
And my thing is, it should
One of
not
the first
take
people you
almost
said, say her
300
name, Sarah
years
Bartman.
for that woman to
Ugh.
make it back to her home country for a proper burial. Because while she was alive, the vast majority of her life, you all paraded her around and wanted her to just show her goodies to whatever white man wanted to see it. Then
You called her the Venus Hottentot. That was her name. The Venus Hottentot.
To pickle her organs.
They were just recently taken out of the museum in Paris. In what? It was like, what? Yeah, exactly.
It was no
genitals were on display.
From home.
Were on display from the time of her death all the way until 2004. They kept her genitals in a jar. Sarah Bartman was from a tribe in Africa. She was kidnapped and stolen by the Dutch, and then she was forced to perform. And the reason why they showcase is because she had a condition that gave her a large rump and large bosoms. Yes. And because of that, that is where one of the major beginnings of the fetishization, the obsession with our bodies, with women's bodies in particular. This woman died at age 21, I believe. She was 21 to 26 years old, I believe. She was young.
She was 24 at 15.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. She was kidnapped at 15. Died when she was 24.
And you want to know why she died at 24? No one ever gave her medical attention.
She drank herself to death. Poor thing was depressed.
She had
raped.
She caught a cold.
That's right.
If you don't treat it, wounds, she died. The last doctor, well, her last owner was a doctor that had been waiting because she kept denying him the ability to see her genitalia. She would consistently tell him no. So during her autopsy, and I'm using this word very, very loosely, that was the first thing he wanted to look at to see if it was a different size than a white woman.
Yep.
But my biggest question, dear racist white people, why is it grave robbing and desecration if some wayward kids go and spray paint or demolish your cemeteries, but you can go into the resting places of our ancestors, and that's called an exhibition. It's an exhibit. It must do a worldwide tour. How would you feel if we dug up your ancestors and started selling them to the highest bidder?
Yeah, Gettysburg. Let's just go to Gettysburg and let's dig it the fuck up, right? Let's just dig up Gettysburg. Yeah, we don't fucking care about that. Let's just dig up Gettysburg. Oh no, that's where one of the biggest wars was ever. Oh, I'm sorry.
How about we grind up a couple of them bones? How about
we grind them up
for a jacket, for a seat? How about we take their hair to make the cushions of the seat? Because that's all of the things that you have done to us, while now getting in our face going, well, you all were uncivilized people. We weren't the knuckle draggers, bitch.
Are you sure we were the uncivilized ones? Because I checked during a lynching was like the event of the season. You brought your kids, you brought a blanket, you brought your chairs. It was a picnic. It was literally a picnic. And after the victim died, you took pictures. You made postcards out of them. You would sell lynched victim postcards. You would cut off body parts and sell them to the highest bidder. You set a black man, what was his name, on fire. They set this man on fire. They decapitated him and paraded around. And
this is the epitome of the white racists, because they love to hide behind their precious Bible.
Fact.
Cotton Mather was the product of two men, last name Cotton, last name Mather. Two of the first people to come to the United States from England because, I'm being persecuted because I can't practice my type of Christianity. He comes over. One grandfather dies. The other grandfather's wife dies. Those two get together, have children. Cotton Mather's father marries his stepmother, has him. Cotton Mather becomes a well-known, well-respected minister and preacher and head of the church. He's part of the reason why the Salem witch trials happened. He even went to go watch people be burned at the stake as these people were quoting the Bible, and he was still telling them that it was a sin. But when an indigenous man was run down in the street and beat to death, and they started to dismember him, Cotton Mather, at 11 years old, a college freshman, grabbed a part of that man's body, ran up and down the street with it, told everybody about it, and it was passed down through the Mather family for generations. People still have respect for him and buy out all of his books on Amazon. This is the same man that was gifted by his church congregation a young slave by the name of Onesimus. And you want to know where inoculations and vaccines come from? Because smallpox was running around at that time. We're going to get all the way into it tonight, okay? Real history lesson, okay? Little Mr. Mather.
I'm ready.
If I could go back in time, I would whoop the shit out of him. I ain't going to lie. Turned around to Onesimus and said, have you ever had smallpox? Onesimus said, well, kind of yes, kind of no. So Mather's got Cotton is he clutching his invisible pearls. What you mean? What you mean? He said, well, we have healers, witch doctors, etc. in my country. They find someone with smallpox, they take a little bit of them, they give it to me to build up my immune system. Oh, Cotton ran to his buddy, you know who, and was like, oh, this is what we can do to protect our people from the smallpox. It doesn't seem to affect the, y'all know the word that they used. We need to get like them. And let's not forget, during the yellow fever epidemic, it was
here we go.
Doctors and nurses that were taking care of everyone, and white doctors and nurses were fleeing, especially Philadelphia. Fleeing the city, and if they did stay, they were charging an arm and a leg to take care of their own people. But black folks were being lied to and said, oh, you can't get yellow fever, it's okay, go out on the front lines. But we're uneducated, we're the heathens, we needed to be saved, because it seems like we're doing a whole lot of saving all throughout history, whether it's here in the UK, on the continent of Africa, it doesn't matter. It seems like everything is riding on the backs, the bodies, and the minds and the emotions of black and brown people. But y'all still want to come in comment sections. Y'all still want to come up to our face and tell us that we are less than and you are superior.
So we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna make a list, and Taz, you can fill in the blanks after I'm finished. You know, just little blanks.
Oh,
here.
yes, I love a good list, darling. Yes.
So we have 8 black inventors who have made daily lives easier.
Oh, yes.
So the first one, the ironing board.
Oh, yes, the ironing board.
Invented by Sarah Boone in 1892.
Oh, yes, lovely.
Oh, and if you wanted to keep your home safe, we have the home security system, invented by Mary Van Britten Brown in 1966.
Yes, darling.
Do you feel secure?
Keep
I
going,
hope so.
God.
I hope so. Oh, and if you want to make sure that you can go or stop at a light, the traffic light, invented by Garrett Morgan in 1923.
I do love the colors.
They're so beautiful.
So lovely.
Oh, and if you wanted to transport food and not have it spoil, we have the refrigerated truck, invented by Frederick McKinley Jones in 1940.
Fresh never spoiled, darling. Fresh never spoiled.
Yummy for my tummy.
Yes.
Then, if you wanted to go up
truck
and
isn't from a certain company that, you know, dear, those drivers, whew, shiver me timbers, they're so
Shiver me timbers, I do declare.
And then we have our next one. If you wanted to go up or down in a building without taking stairs, the automatic elevator doors, invented by Alexander Miles in 1887. Gotta love those automatic doors.
Do you have the inventor of the ice cream scoop, darling?
Not yet, but that will be another list.
Well, his name is Alfred, and his last name starts with an H. I'm sorry, but You
Like that man's homeboy. No, I'm just playing. I had to do it.
I know you did. I know. We had to reach. We had to reach. So we have.
wifey,
If you want,
darling, if you don't sit down right now, I'm coming over there. Now, what I was saying was Mr. Alfred created the ice cream scoop. You see, he was working in the ice cream parlor. Actually, he was working in the drugstore in the hotel, and he noticed that there was an ice cream parlor there, and he saw how they would scoop the ice cream into the cups, but the ice cream kept getting stuck to the spoons. So he created an apparatus that, just pushed a button ever so slightly, and it slipped the ice cream off the spoon and plopped a perfectly round ball into your cup. And he patented. It is his. So every racist motherfucker who owns that ice cream truck and with their do, think a black man, please. Otherwise, your ice cream would constantly be stuck to a spoon. No, it's not pleasant, darlings. It's not pleasant.
Not pleasant at all. So next we have the electric microphone.
But let's not forget, before we get there, darlings, let us not forget, all you racist fucktards out there, don't ever need to use an automatic gear shift. Don't have any archways in your home. Don't eat another fucking bag of potato chips.
Or chocolate chip cookies.
Or any peanut butter.
None. That product, period.
Don't use a gas mask.
And sweetheart,
vest either,
And let's be real. Don't visit Washington D.C.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Don't mow your lawn.
We got two more from these, and I need one of them. Taz, you have pointed out, but we gonna get to it. So, if you didn't want to, be yelling all the time in an auditorium, we have the electric microphone invented by James E. West. Just saying, so people can hear you. You don't have to all over the place.
Don't need heart surgery or blood bank because other than that, you'd be disrespecting.
Oh yes, and all the racist who love Nerf guns and super soakers. Stop it now! A black man invented it. Both of
that lovely protective mailbox that you love to keep your little stimulus checks together.
There he is.
That's Philip B. Downing.
Yes.
There he is.
And
darling.
we forgot
These
right here, these little cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
Take them out of your hand too.
Yep.
Chuck them.
You can thank Alexander Miles for the automatic elevator door.
Yes.
I think I said that.
Yes, he did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, darlings, where are my flashcards?
Oh, the gigahertz chip, the IBM PC monitor. Wonder who came up with that. It's a lovely person by the name of Mark Dean.
You notice how some of those inventions, the earlier ones I mentioned, were all women?
Yeah.
Just saying.
The super
throwing that out there.
Was Lonnie Johnson.
That's right, Lonnie Johnson.
And he was, and just just to spice it up a little bit more. He was an aerospace engineer at NASA. Boo.
Yes, he works at NASA.
The tissue holder is Mary Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
The laser Faco is Patricia Bath. The automatic gear shift, that's Richard Spikes. The clothes dryer, that's George Sampson. The dustpan,
make sure them clothes is dry.
The folding chair, the KKK members' favorite accessory on top of their Second Amendment, John Purdy. Golf tees. That's their favorite pastime. The racists getting together on the golf course. That's Dr. George Grant. Did you hear me? Dr. George Grant. The lawnmower, John Albert Burr. The lawn sprinkler, Joseph Smith. The modern toilet, Thomas Elkins. The mop, Thomas Stewart. The reversible,
a lot of Thomases.
William Richardson. Oh, and here's one that's gonna really kill him.
What's gonna bake your noodle later on?
Guess who was the first drag queen in the United States?
Don't you dare.
William Dorsey Swan. Woo!
Let's talk about
Shirley A. Not just doing it for ourselves, but doing it for all of y'all too.
Shirley A. Jackson. She was a physicist and an inventor, the first African-American woman to not only obtain a PhD in physics from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, but also to obtain any PhD. During her career, Jackson became a leading developer for many inventions, such as caller ID, call waiting, fiber optic cables, and the portable fax machine, solar cells, and the touch tone cell telephone. She was not only the first woman, but also the first African American to chair the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commissions, being appointed by the President Bill Clinton in 1995. Jackson became president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science before becoming chairman, and the National Women's Hall of Fame inducted Jackson in 1998.
And here's this airplane propelling, that's James S. Adams. The biscuit cutter, A.P. Ashbourne. The coin changer, James Bauer. Rotary engine, Andrew Beard. The car coupler, Andrew Beard again. The letterbox, G.E. Beckett. Stainless steel pads, Alfred Benjamin. The torpedo discharger, you know, for those that like to suckle the teeth of the military, that's H. Bradbury. Disposable syringe, Phil Brooks. Corn planter, Henry Blair. Cotton planter, Henry Blair. Street sweepers, C.B. Brooks. Oh my goodness, you can't use don't use a horseshoe, a horse bridle, a train alarm, an image converter, a radiation detector, paint, lotions and soaps. You know what? Just go back to the mountains and just drag your knuckles.
And just start over.
Beat your laundry on a rock. That's all you need to do.
No, they can't even do that because we know who taught them how to do that.
Well, it's time to go. We can go there.
For those that were watching the other night when I had some Indigenous women on, it was brought to my attention and I rewatched it. It did cut out when I was giving this little nugget of history. So let me repeat it. There is a textile company called Saturday Night Limited. They sell everything specifically for the bathroom, whether it's a rug, shower curtain, soap dispensers, or whatever. And people always wonder, why was it called Saturday Night? Because way back in the day, you know, that people like to romanticize and act like castles were the cleanest thing, then royalty was the cleanest thing just because they were rich. They only took baths on Saturday night.
So nasty.
And for that, that carried through for a lot of people up until the 40s and 50s, actually.
Yep.
And that's why there's a certain portion of the population that in the summertime, they call things summer baths, because if they get into any body of water, they consider that being clean, whether it's a pool, a river, an ocean, a lake, a creek. And there was one woman 2 years ago that admitted on Twitter and doubled down on Facebook that one time her kids got into some Sharpies and painted on each other. She was like, well, I took them to the pool and they cleaned it right off. Well, you need to bring them back home and clean the chlorine off. No wonder dusty and looking like.
Oh, I have something for the gamers out there. Yes, Mark Hanna. Yeah, let's see. Co-founder of Silicon Graphics Incorporated, a computer graphics technology company in 1982. And Hanna,
my birth year.
Hanna's company also helped create the early architecture for Nintendo 64 game console. You can thank a black man for Nintendo.
And please, stop getting your history from movies. Yes, it is completely appropriate to support and boost movies regarding Black people, whether it's a biopic or something fictional.
Get you some of these.
Realize
4 sets. Get you some of these.
It's supposed to be considered a biopic. They take a lot of poetic license and they will always throw in a white savior that never existed and did something that they never did. Case in point, Hidden Figures. There was never a boss that ripped down the sign off of the bathroom and was like, we're all the same. We're hidden. No, they treated those women like crap. They treated those women like they were dumb.
Still do to this day.
And one thing that they didn't properly portray in that movie is that they made it seem like these women were just master programmers and that's where they're getting all their interested in. You know, that's where they're getting all their answers from and everything else. No, these women were writing the code, doing the math, programming it into the computer that could then properly get the calculations and the equations that they needed to get people to the moon. Because for a machine to work, there has to be a person to make it work, to create it to work properly. So that means that there has to be somebody, when you invent a machine, you are smarter than that machine. But they want to say that. They never want to say that.
Yeah. Mika's here, everyone. Just letting you know, she's always
in the background, like, this is my time to shine.
Yep. No, Mika's always here. She's always
Mika's like, I am the steady part of the panel.
Mm-hmm. She is. She's always here.
She's like, Mama, I know you don't want to go on, but cut this camera on so they can see me.
Okay, here you go.
We gonna get a Mika fan page started.
Here's Mika, everybody.
Mika gonna have some merch. Mika gonna have a cult following.
And right now she's like, get this shit out of my face right now.
You're muted. You muted yourself again, bruh.
Jesse, is that a tabby?
Is that a tabby? No, she's a Lynx Point Siamese.
She kind of looks like my cat. I got a Maine Coon.
Yeah.
She's exotic.
Look, she's pretty. And the M on her forehead, like a lot of cats have that M on their forehead, which is the Mao sign. Because as you know, Egyptian Maos are one of the most ancient breeds of cats. And that M is a sign of the Mao. And if you look at the hieroglyphics in Egypt, specifically, I believe in Kemet, you'll see cats and they have the M. And that's where we get that M marking from.
But hold on, can we take a side note? Or maybe we can just float into this. I have so much respect for cats and a little bit of fear because we had to domesticate other animals. Cats decided to slightly domesticate themselves to be around us. They looked at us like, oh, they're not too bad. I can hang out with them for a little bit. And they domesticated themselves. Like, do you know how much of a bad bitch you got to be like, oh, I'm not going to be wild anymore. I'm going to keep a little bit of the wildness.
They had to start creating a positive relationship, right? And the positive relationship was, okay, people are farming. Okay, what happens when you farm? Vermin. Okay, you get pests and stuff. What are these guys excellent at? Catching mice. So the reward was, and the positive relationship was, you kill all these mice, you get a dish of cream. You get, that's why they always have cats at barns and where there's like cows and all this other stuff, is because they get a dish of cream every single time. They're really good at, catching vermin. And then one day, little Miss Kitty decided to be like, I'm coming in the palace now, and sat there, royal and gorgeous, and all of the cultures, the Egyptians particularly, they idolize cats. In ancient China, the Siamese and the Himalayan were the cats of the emperors. They just have this regality of them, and like almost all creatures have that some form of ancient tie and respect from these communities. But man, cats in general, like I fucking love cats. I'm obsessed with cats.
Female cats. Okay, y'all might think
amazing.
Well, I know that I'm a little kooky. Y'all know I'm a little kooky, so I'm just going to share it.
Share it.
Every time I see a female cat, whether in real life or like in somebody's video or on a call,
this baby,
in the back of my head, okay?
She's talking about
I hear the entrance music for like the royal family as the female cat just sachets in. Like I am just waiting for someone to just come up and put a little cape and a crown because female cat, there's just a way that they just move.
She's a queen. Like when she enters a room, she is making an entrance. So like I will be like, sometimes I will be like on the phone with y'all, whatever. And I'll just hear row. And I'll be like, oh, here comes the kitty. And then here she comes, just strutting her stuff, working the runway, stomping for the gods. And then she does a tail flick that. And I'm like, if you don't stop. And then she'll just like slowly lay down and look, cross her paws and just, yes, my domain. And cats in sunbeams. Let's talk about cats in sunbeams. Do you know how fucking regal they look when they are just living their life? I mean, the sun gives you energy. The sun is life. And to a cat, the sun is God. And so every time the sun comes out, she's on the back of my chair. I have to open the window. She's like clockwork. Every time I wake up, she goes upstairs. She meditates with boyfriend. She comes downstairs and it's like, which means open the fucking window. I want to look at birds. And so like, I open the window. The window's open from 7:45 until the sun goes down. So about 6:30. And that sunbeam hits about 3 o'clock. She's right here. And she doesn't move for about 4 hours. she's right there. And like she just has this, like, I hear Zen music when she's just meditating in the sun. The sun hits and she's that content cat face, the cutest content that face. I love that face.
That's way better than the horny ass dog looks, or maybe only dogs give me that look. Maybe just the dogs that live near me, because the dogs that live near me look me up and down, kind of give me a doggy smile, and always want to stop at my door when they're being walked. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like you feel like we're in a relationship, and I'm not that type of person. So keep it moving.
yeah. I have dogs. I have one dog. Her name's Pan, and I love her. But you know, like I'm more of a cat person now. Like I grew up with both cats and dogs, and I love them both very much. But I like cats. And I'm very much attached to Mika because like Mika is like the only cat that has like actually like chosen me to be her human, which is very special to me. Because like when I was growing up, I was young, and the cats don't really like children. They're like, "Ooh, ugh, get away." And so, but like Mika loves me, and like I found her when I was still living in the city. My neighbor was gonna give her to my boyfriend because my boyfriend had just lost his cat, who he had for like 17 years, and so he was he was in the process of filling the gap, because that's what you do, you fill the gap. And so then he was coming over briefly, and I sent the cat back, and then he came over, and I had a picture of her, and his jaw dropped. He was just like, "Oh my God, she's so pretty." And then he left, and so I was like, "Okay, well, we'll see about getting you the cat." So then I go outside to let my dog out, and I let her in, and I'm still sitting out there smoking a cigarette, and I hear this mewing, this tiny little mewing, and I look over in the yard, and she apparently got put outside. And she came right up to me, and I just scooped her up over the fence, and I run inside. And then my roommate comes home, and I'm like, "Okay, please don't be mad at me, but there's a cat in the basement." And so he goes downstairs. He's like, "Jesse, what are you doing? And then he looks at her, and because he's a sucker for animals with blue eyes, and she has blue eyes, he was like, "Oh my God, the kitty." And then I was just like, "Okay, but like, it's for boyfriend." And of course, boyfriend was like, "I don't know if we're going to take her," because he's very particular about cats. Like he grew up in a house where he lived with 27 cats. 27 cats. 27 cats. Yeah, lots of cats. So he is very much a cat person.
He was the pet there.
Oh yeah, no, he had like a bunch of like all the cats were always having babies and shit. And like,
no, that was the cat's house. He was the pet.
Oh yeah, he was the pet. But yeah, no, the cats that lived there would always have babies, and like there was like a time where the cats ended up giving birth in his bed, and then like so his bed became the cat bed, and so like all that stuff, and like anyway, but because he loved cats so much, so he's very particular about how the cat's attitude and like their everything, very 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 particular. And so then he came over to meet her, and he fell in love, and I had my fingers crossed. I was like, "Please take the cat, because if you take her, that means she gets to stay in the family, and then I get my own cat." So basically he ended up taking her home, and she is now officially like my cat. Basically, she's my cat.
See, my first pet ever in life was a cat. And it's funny because my mother, as a minor, found the cat on her way home from school. She snuck it into my granny's house. Some way, somehow, my mother convinced the two anti-cat parents of hers that they were going to keep the cat. Fast forward years later, I am born. The cat decides I am his baby. Cat was named Snowball. Snowball was all white, but was like the Garfield of the neighborhood. He would leave for a little while, so his wild oats come back. But he decided I was his baby, and my granny had this god-awful yellow chair in her house that was just Snowballs. He took it over. He decided this is mine. We just let him have it. When my mother and father got married and my mother moved out, Snowball didn't care that my mother moved out. He cared that I was gone. And he pissed. We were still attached, but he didn't want to stop living with my grandparents. But every time I came, he was always in my lap. Now, by the time I was in the 5th grade, and this is going to sound like some rich people problems, my damn cat died of a heart attack.
Oh, poor thing.
I think he had a fucked up ass diet. He would eat steak and shit with my grandfather. And like seared salmon. He never ate cat food.
Oh no.
Before pet cemeteries were a thing and pet funerals, I made my grandfather hold a full funeral for my cat with a viewing and everything. My teacher was pissed because I missed a day of school, and she literally said to me the next day, like, that's excessive. We had a full processional, can't talk tonight, and to this day, he's buried underneath the deck at my grandparents' house, and my cousin has moved into the
You're
house.
kidding me.
Well, there's a very sad story here in Cedar. I am currently in Cedar Rapids right now. That's why my signal has been spotty all night. There is a restaurant where a group of Trump supporters decided to put ground up cat in their Chinese food. When the coronavirus broke out, which ended up shutting down the Chinese food place because of a silly fucking superstition. So that is how low the Trump supporters around my area get.
It just got dark, baby girl. Oh, I gotta love all my kids, sweetheart.
Okay, so we're gonna shift a little bit, not a whole lot, because that was a dark place you took us.
That was dark. Damn,
it was pretty dark.
Woo.
I thought for all those cat lovers, they needed to know that this place has gone crazy.
Well, have you seen the documentary? Don't fuck with cats.
I haven't
okay,
seen that.
so
My god,
my fiance has this Siamese cat. It's technically his mother's, but the cat decided, I don't fuck with you, so let me go fuck with RJ because I like him. Anyways,
that's what they do.
Anyway, so he is one of the most he kind, but he also very stern. Like you ain't gonna make me get into this bathtub. I'm gonna fuck you up trying to get me into this bathtub. I clean myself anyway. But that story broke out while we were living together, and I just kept thinking and then I found out I didn't used to live too far away from the store. So I was like, while I was down here and you guys were talking about cats, that's where my dark mind went.
No,
it was just a very sad day.
The documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats, this was a thing where this guy would go on the internet and film videos of him torturing cats. And it was like dark web shit. And I mean, they didn't show the full video, but you knew what was happening in it. And I mean, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch. And I was like, luckily they caught the motherfucker. This guy was psycho. He ended up becoming he was like a serial killer. He was like a closeted homosexual who then tried, Craigslist shit. And then oh my God, this guy was fucking nuts who did it. But he's like they say, serial killers start out torturing animals.
I mean, I just want to say this right now.
He would literally go and buy kittens to do this stuff.
Any person who may be pegging out there as a fellow practitioner, I want to say right now that tonight I'm gonna go home. Tonight at home, I'm gonna light a candle and try to see, because there are very many deities that are animal. That are from the animal kingdom, and try to see, will they forgive my human ugly ass? That's what they think. Y'all know it.
But, funny, Frenchie came down here for just a minute, and when just said, "Don't fuck with cats," he was like, "Did she just say don't fuck with Taz?" I was like, Jesus Christ, no.
Frenchie. Frenchie, that's wifey. That's wifey. But yeah, you don't fuck with Taz, and also you're wifey. So I'm not saying I don't fuck with you.
All right. I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
First part. Have everybody here seen the first volume of Kill Bill?
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna smack you.
I'll smack myself.
Girl, where you been?
Where have I been? I watched Disney, damn it. and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and
Okay. Well, that's
Indiana
fine.
Jones. I mean,
look
You
up the
watch
clip.
Game of Thrones?
Yes, I watch Game. Can we talk Game of Thrones? I know Game of Thrones.
Well, this clip, it's a question. It's an honest question. Look up the clip later.
Okay.
Just look up the clip later. So, in the very first fight, if all of you remember, when she tackles Vanita Green, Vivica Fox's character, I honestly think she went easy on that fight.
She did.
Discuss.
I honestly think she did
because of
the racial standpoints in that movie.
I think she went. I think she went easy on that fight. Both of them were holding back. Let's be honest. I think they both went easy on that.
Holding back.
I think they both went easy on that fight. One, because they were really good friends, and she did not want to join in what happened at that wedding chapel that day. But she knew she had no choice. So she knew the circumstances, what was about to happen. She just didn't know how they were going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking at that fight scene and I was like, every time I see it, I was just like, when she was fighting Ellie, she was fighting for her life. She was ready to knock her out.
You want to know what's the sickest part of that freaking movie?
No.
All three of those women.
Going to places.
I was saying all three of those women came up under a man who didn't they all kill men who had abused them, sold them into some kind of bullshit? Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, see, we don't know the full Beatrix Kiddo story, though.
Yeah.
We only get half. At best, maybe even
True that. But all of those women came up under a man who used them, they did things. Yes, they got paid, but if they switched up just once, they got brutally murdered.
It's called a cult.
That was karma working in that in the Kill Bill movie. I'm just being honest with it. Karma, extreme.
But like I said, because every time I see that fight, I was just like, it feels like they're just holding back. Because I mean, even with that first punch that she lands on her, I was just like, girl, you're known as Black Mamba, right? So they have literally labeled you. Yeah, I know. We know we got 3 minutes, man. We know. We got it. I'm on the reel. I'm just like, yes. I'm putting you on blast. It's okay. I was just like, you're literally known. The shade. The audacity. The shade. You see how she muted me?
I couldn't laugh hard shit.
That's what you get. But it just like I said, it seemed like to me like both of them were holding back and they did not want to fight each other on the real.
Yeah, that fight should have been over like way sooner than it was.
Like she should have just met her with the gun and gone about her business.
And they didn't have to fuck up that kitchen the way they did.
Oh, they fucked up the whole house.
Yeah, but I really like the kitchen. The rest of the house,
broke all her glasswares.
I'm like, damn.
Messed up her dining table.
All right, I'm gonna see this fucking movie. It's been a while, okay? It's been never. That's what it is. It's been 28 years of my life, and I haven't seen Kill Bill.
Okay, so I'll give you a Lord of the Rings question. Do you prefer the original or the extended versions?
You know what? Let's be real here. The extended version does give you more of the essence from the book. However, there's a lot. I mean, which one? All of them. I've seen all of the extended versions, and I mean, they're nice to have some of those scenes in there. But I mean, the books are completely different, and there's more depth. But you can only fit so much Tolkien in, because let's see. I like the extended version better because I mean, it's 3 hours of Lord of the Rings, and it's awesome and stuff. Like it's great. It's good. It's good. It's worth it. It needed to happen. If you really wanted to stay true to like the books and stuff, these movies one movie would be 3 movies long for all of the backstory. And if they didn't, who did they cut out? They cut out Tom Bombadil, who was like, yeah, they cut him out.
I had to think about it.
They cut him out, and the what's his name? The oak tree. Tom Bombadil was completely cut out, and the oak tree that attacked Merry and Pippin, they added him in the second movie, and they Treebeard spoke a poem that was actually Tom Bombadil, but that was their way of paying homage to Tom Bombadil while they completely omitted him from the story. And it's like, okay, whatever. And honestly, and Legolas. Let's talk about Legolas here. Legolas wasn't just some pretty elf, okay? He wasn't just, and let's talk about the movie too. Legolas only says one word to Frodo. You do know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says, "And you have my bow." That's it. The rest of it, he just ignores Frodo. So if you see that last scene in The Return of the King where Frodo's all laid out in bed and then everybody starts running in all slow and shit and jumping and he's saying everybody's name. Notice how he says everybody's name, especially when Aragorn walks in, he mouths Aragorn, and Gimli comes in, he goes, "Oh, Gimli, oh." And then Legolas walks in like this. Like, and he just looks up at Legolas like, and I'm just like, see, y'all don't even know each other. Yeah, he was willing to die for you, and all he said was, "And you have my bow." Like, what was that? I'm like, y'all don't even have a relationship. Why was he? What was that? What was all of that? And Aragorn was even more like, he was not that much of a like, oh, I don't want to be king. No, he knew exactly who the fuck he was. He acknowledged who the fuck he was. He was just a little unsure about shit. He wasn't some rogue ranger dude.
A Tumblr.
Yeah. Yes, the fuck you did. God damn it. Like.
Sorry, Taz. I didn't mean to start a Tumblr. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, well, are we up on time? Is that what it is? Because you said. I mean, do I need to shut up?
Thank you all for joining me tonight for another. Yeah, I'm so tongue-tied tonight. Thank you all again for joining me for another Freeform Fridays. I do appreciate you all, and I love it when I have this combination on here. It's so wonderful. We will be back in full force on Tuesday. So enjoy Memorial Day weekend holiday. If you know a veteran, please check on them because they've lost a lot of friends and they will be taking this holiday hard. And they might be doing some things that may not make a whole lot of sense to you, but you know, have a kind heart. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Night.
Bye.
Bye.